What do we got this time around? We got Chili over for the team too, but I don't think he's going first. He's just kind of AFK. Dano is a feral, Strand is survival hunter. We got Zero and we got us in Chicago. Gonna be first up versus Kiosko. Charging out the Kiosko pretty early on, though, dropping in the Ghost Raptors for that bonus. Maelstrom generation. Quick bunny shot onto all these pets. Stun on Chicago. Separating from the pets, but it's gonna be a massive early blast out of the enhancement. Oh, what is that? Oh, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? What? He just blasted Kiosko. 2 Ellie blasts and he's done. 50% blast. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Wait, Wimble. I don't know if you can do this, but maybe you can. Chicago try to see if you can deal with the arcane damage burst. This is going to be dropping down the ground control immediately. Wimble try to see if he can close the gap in order to get some damage to Chicago. Does get a missile rolling for a second, but looks like Chicago has been able to escape majority of the burst out of the arcane mage. Still getting those missiles. Still got the same damage. Knock Chicago out in the open, and it's going to go for mad missiles while kind of bobbing and weaving out of the box. Actually putting in a lot of work there onto Chicago. But it looks like the Shaman may have stabilized it a little bit. As long as, oh, big Ellie blast. Jesus Christ, what the hell is this? Massive burst. Are you serious? Chicago needs himself another blast if they can. There's going to be yet another one as well. We're trying to go for a Nova, but I don't think he was able to get Chicago, only the pets. Going to be yet another knock, putting Chicago out in the open. Honestly, this is why I think Wimble wants to back up out of there, get himself a little bit of healing. This man got quite a bit of burst, but I don't think he realizes Chicago got all this burst as well. As Chicago trying to see if he can maybe build up more Maelstrom. You know exactly Chicago's plan, so Wimble better make sure he's not sitting at 50% health. Because if he's sitting at 50% or less, it could be dead. It could be lights out. It could be over. Chicago trying to see if he can close the gap. Wimble does get himself an invis and goes behind the pillar, trying to catch up with Voodoo as soon as possible. If Chicago realizes what's going on, they can maybe scurry over there and take Wimble down. Let's make sure that they purge him of all the buffs. But it's going to be kind of difficult. Does get interrupted on Arcane. Maybe put Wimble in a bad spot. If he can get enough damage, maybe he'll be in a good, in a decent situation. Going to be a Sunder onto Wimble for a second. Does go for some damage. Big Arcane Sword to Chicago. That's going to be massive missiles to follow. Grounding totem immediately. It is going to be a wall in the south. Trying to see if he can tank up completely. As Wimble swinging around the corner, but the angle he's going in at the boxes, he has the ability to knock Chicago out in the open, which is exactly what Chicago does not want to be. Is out in the open. Can't really do much against the mage. Does leave back on top of him though. Trying to see if he can get some pressure in. As Chicago goes in for a bit of healing. Earth Shield back up. Lightning Shield as well. Like, yeah, both Earth Shield and Lightning Shield. Playing the dual shielding build, which is working out for him really well. Gonna be Ghost Raptors joining in. If Chicago can get another set of Ghost Raptors and another blast, that'd be perfect. Ring almost connects, but not quite there. So close, but literally Chicago was a pixel out of it. It looks like there's gonna be more Ghost Raptors running into the ring either way. And Wimble potentially having some big damage. Going to be missiles around the corner. Chicago dropping down the grounding totem. Wimble super low on health. Does he recover? Mad damage to Chicago. There's going to be touch of the magic. Doing quite a bit, but Wimble decided not to commit into the touch of the magic. Backs up out of that immediately. And Chicago trying to see if he can get next to Wimble. Another Ellie Blast is all they need. Just a little bit more Maelstrom is all they need. Going to be a stun totem. Trying to see maybe if he got him back, avoiding the second stun totem. Quick invest for a second. Going to be a Thunder onto Wimble. Fall enough to follow. Maybe in a bit of trouble. Trying to barrage Chicago, but Chicago with the Ellie Blast. Oh my god. I got to see what kind of a build you got going on, because that's an Ellie Blast build. You literally can't pull these boys out of the game. Jesus Christ. Hockey going to be up next. If this man can Cloak of Shadows at the right time, he may be able to avoid Chicago's Ellie Blast build. Kindle Shot trying to go for a bit of a spike build, maybe build some more combo points, maybe go for more bleed over time. Chicago does use Aegis. Do you use Aegis while stunned? Yeah, so just is insane, the build that Chicago's got. The big Ellie Blast, man. It's incredibly good. Hockey is gonna have to Cloak of Shadows not used. It's actually trying to see if he can double blast him. Oh my god, Hockey. Actually cheat death. Cheat death, Cloak of Evasion, having to go for a Vantage reset. Jesus, Chicago got a mad blast ready. I can't believe it. Hope they keep the playstyle, tune the numbers. Yeah, I kind of like the Ellie Blast build, honestly. But yeah, the numbers maybe need to be tuned. Big Ellie Blast does not get the crit. Hockey does go for a quick blind, as he gives himself a bit of a reset. So it looks like maybe Chicago needs a bunch of procs in order to make this Ellie Blast work. The Rogue could not get a proper restyle. That's super unfortunate. Chicago just smite him down with a quick Sunder. Huge Buttman trying to see if he can close the gap. Big Lava Burst to follow. He definitely got himself that Ascendance build, playing that full Lava Burst. So maybe if you can get a setup versus Chicago, maybe go for Ice Fury, where Frost Shocks will amplify the damage of these Lava Bursts. That could be pretty nutty. Continue to just blast out, feeding Chicago all those meatballs. And Chicago just expecting for maybe big damage out of huge button. Both of the Shamans, in fact, are expecting big damage out of each other, so they're pre-walling. Just thinking, you know what, this is gonna go bad. Chicago trying to get themselves into huge. Maybe we can go for early blast. It's gonna be maybe grounding totem. I think try to get rid of it. Stun onto huge button with a second stun, denying him any healing, denying him any damage. As Chicago is hexed. And huge could be in trouble. Big early blast out of Chicago did not have the procs they need, as it didn't hit nearly as hard as the other times. But still, huge is in a bad spot. Definitely needs a lightning lasso. Summon of Chicago. Mad air shock. Maybe turn this around. Chicago super low on health. Trying to go for heal as a ground totem was next to them. Huge does get himself a bit of recovery as well. And Chicago trying to see if he can close the gap. Does get interrupted onto huge with a Sunder trinkets out of it. But at that point, Chicago already had you in the palm of their hand. Aaron's going to be up next. Trying to see maybe get some pets in there. Demon Doggos, as well as the Felguard. I think with the Felguard stun, maybe a Mortal Coil. And maybe, if I don't know if he's putting a Reflect or not, but maybe he may be able to live this. Chicago just trying to see if he can charge out at Aaron. He is kind of tanky though. Warlocks naturally do have a little bit more tankiness to them. Big Ellie Blast. Aaron's got in a tight spot. May have to go for Warlock Hellstone. Does use its Soulborn Warlock Hellstone in order to give him big heals. Trying to go for a big Tyrant play. Does Chicago back up out of there, or do they stay in? I think they have to back out. May need to spend all the Maelstrom in order to keep yourself topped off as best as humanly possible. As a Tyrant trying to chase you, putting you out in the open. Tyrant getting a bit confused. That's going to be full Obelisk. If Chicago can live the Obelisk play with a Tyrant and go for another Ellie Blast, then may be able to recover. At this point, defensives is all you can really think about. Honestly, those pets right next to you may want to get some Maelstrom on these things. Ghost Sharp to join in. So maybe Chicago's looking for some counter play, or potentially counter offensive, but Chicago gets stunned up right now. That'll be really deadly. Let's go for an interrupt versus Aaron. Next, Mortal Coil into a stun. The Axe Toss could be really bad for Chicago. They don't really have a lot of mana to work with. Actually, blasting out the pet, blasting out the primary Felguard with an Ellie Blast may not be the worst idea, actually. It's going to trick out of that stun. Stun versus Aaron. Stun to follow after. It's going to be a second stun totem, potentially. Second stun totem does hit the pet, but not the Warlock does pre-wall the blast, as it was going to be a Mortal Coil with Chicago. Send him up a port. Maybe give him some soul burn mobility. Potentially. Chicago just needs one more blast. Aaron got himself a pretty meaty shield. But if he gets some of the big procs, got himself the Ghost Raptors, maybe that'll be enough damn. Aaron's actually low on health. Whoa, Chicago actually was able to 1v5 these boys. The Elemental Blast build. What is that thing? 1.2 mil, 1.1 mil healing, by the way. 1.2 mil damage, though. What was that? I'm actually so surprised, boys. I'm actually surprised. That's actually crazy. Yeah, I do hope they keep this playstyle noise, but that's a lot of damn right now. How hard does that hit, chat? Does anybody have the numbers? What does that Ellie Blast hit for?